Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BARCast TV and to another episode of BARCast Daily. It is June 8th, 2023. We've got another high-level game between Ragna and ZLO and a very special guest on the channel. So, ZLO, welcome to BARCast TV.
Hello. Yeah.
So
Nice to be here. Yeah.
yeah, well, thanks for coming on the channel. I've got a lot of questions for you, I'm sure, and hopefully y'all enjoy this kind of content where we bring on high level players. So if you want to see more of that, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and let's go ahead and get into the game. I'll unpause the replay and we can introduce our players. So spawning on the left side of Comet Catcher, playing as the red pieces, we have ZLO, the man himself. And spawning on the right side of the map, playing as the blue pieces, it's Ragna.
Yeah, and it's core versus arm, which is also,
Yeah, an
I
interesting
guess,
distinction for sure.
adds to the fun a little bit.
So, do you know kind of what Ragna likes to play as, or do you always pick core, or what's your take on the races?
Uh, yeah, I actually remember something because this game is one of the series of games that we played in a row. So it kinda makes sense to discuss them as multiple games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, by the way, you can see Ragnar is building his solar collector to the bottom left of his commander, while I make it towards my LLT, and I think making it towards LLT makes it much more safer against scouts. But that's whatever. Basically, previous two games, I think I won with some weird all-in, and this game I decided to play much more standard. This game I'm trying to play standard,
Hmm.
and because I think Ragnar is like very well, like I know that he will adapt to.
Yeah.
If I play something, the same thing 3 times in a row, I'm pretty sure that he will adapt. So I start with two scouts. It's kind of combination of scouting and maybe have a chance to harass, and one builder and one tank to protect it.
Okay.
And my scouts, I just run away from fleas and hope that they use their bigger range. That's basically not much, yeah.
Okay. So the scouts can beat the ticks if with the range advantage they have.
Yeah, I think there is some secret uh, micro trick that you can do with fleas.
Mm-hmm.
You can like turn them around very, very fast or spam clicks very fast, and vehicle scouts will miss. Actually, Ragnar is now taking out my extractor, but I guess it's right next to my commander, so that's not a big deal.
Sorry.
Oh, I think we are. Yeah, for some reason my game is much faster.
Oh, I had paused
I
just
will
for a
slow.
second to let you go
Okay,
about the
yeah.
micro technique.
Okay, I'm slowing down a little bit. Yeah, you can see he used two fleas to kill that extractor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and generally right now I'm making quite a lot of constructors. I have two,
Mm-hmm.
and well, Ragnar also has two. I don't know. Uh, so yeah, my solar collectors are almost safe. He's, I guess he's also safe
Mm-hmm.
because he added an LLT. That's something that he often does.
Yeah, this is something you see a lot of from. Well, I'd say adding the LLT is standard in a way. Perhaps I
Yeah,
mean protects you
I
against.
guess it's still not very how do I say it? I don't feel like it's standard. I don't feel like it's good because I can't get used to the fact that they are so cheap
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and effective. Yeah.
Yeah, I will
I'm
say.
trying to kite with my tanks. It initially doesn't work very well, but eventually looking to be fine. I took some damage, but also got a little bit of reclaim.
Yeah, that's a nice little pickup there. Do you prefer
I think,
playing
yeah,
vehicles, um, or is this something you kind of a choice you made to play in this specific game because of the series you were playing against Ragna?
I like bots more, but I think vehicles are better. And I kinda also like really like bots because I don't know, I find it more fun.
Mm-hmm.
And you have res bots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say, because we played, I think, within the past week and on Red Comet, and you were using bots against me, and I've been playing them again, seeing you use them. I was like, oh, I kind of remembered how fun they are. Playing the bot matchup versus anything really is. It's just fun and a little more dynamic, I suppose, than the vehicle vehicle opens.
Yeah, but you casted a game recently, and I guess there were many mistakes and many things I could have done better, but
Mm-hmm.
it kind of was true that I was hoping Ragnar to attack into me and that I could later res some units, but he never did any mistakes like this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I I couldn't do it. So it doesn't always work, I guess.
I see. Well, I wonder if he knew perhaps you were kind of baiting him in, or he knew you had a large group of res bots kind of waiting.
Yeah, maybe.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you never really have to technically take a fight on the Comet Catcher, right? I mean, you can just get half of the map and then go to Tech 2 without attacking ever on your opponent's side of the map. So, um,
Yeah. So one big difference, that kind of magic that Ragnar does, he already has 6 constructors assisting his
mm-hmm,
lab.
mm-hmm,
I did lose 2 constructors, I think, but I still don't have as many. I have 4 actually. Yeah, I lost 2 and now I have 4. So maybe that's the difference. But now my army value is like 1500 or something.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's why vehicles are so good, I think. His army value in metal is like 600, and that's it. Okay, so now my army is there, and I'm like, I thinking that he might send resbots there, or just I'm like camping that reclaim field or
mm-hmm,
something like that,
mm-hmm.
but don't really want to attack. And right now I feel lack of scouts. Like I want to scout with my vehicle army,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's not. I I want to send it elsewhere. Also,
Right.
okay, are we on the same?
I'm at like
Yeah,
740.
yeah, I see. Yeah,
So you just lost those that construction vehicle in the bottom left,
yeah,
and you still have this light tank army kind of sharking around the the top side, denying that reclaim
yeah.
field.
He's trying to send a Razor,
Mm-hmm.
and those. Yeah, I actually like incisors there, or I think
Yeah, yeah.
that's called. Yeah, because they can kite. I like trying to kite. That's why I also like bots for core because they can kite. And actually, I have my constructor there to reclaim. There is
Mm-hmm.
300 metal,
Mm-hmm.
and my constructor is reclaiming. I guess I built one too many constructors, so I decided to send it because my commander is still in my base and
Right.
I don't know when I should send it out or not. Actually, right now it kind of looks like I have advantage, but I guess I don't know about it. Like, I feel like I could push in and kill an LLT and those bots and grab
Yeah.
even more reclaim with
Yeah.
that. I'm sorry. That's a phone.
No problem.
Oh.
So do you not like expanding with your commander and just keeping it in the main base, or is that more map specific decision you make?
I guess I never like it, but I don't know about map specific. Wonder if there are maps when I like it.
Hmm. Well, say in the case where you make the decision not to move out of the base with your commander, is that like what are the drawbacks you see from from that, or what advantages do you think you have keeping the commander in your main base?
I guess when I just started playing, I remember winning a lot of games just because I could make more units because my commander was in base.
Mm-hmm.
But um, right now, it is a lot more about covering map with LLTs
Mm-hmm.
and expanding, and commander is reasonably fast um, with expanding and covering map with LLTs.
Hmm.
And something about Ragnar that I can't get used to, that he is not expanding to the sides, at least not much. Like my
No.
units at the bottom, they are standing there, and he's just not expanding there, and I find it weird. And I have even more units on the bottom coming,
Mm-hmm. But you
and
can't get damage done because he's kind of packed into a circle and not
yeah,
spreading out across the map. Yeah, that's an interesting point. It looks like you just caught one of his expanding engineers there, and
yeah. But also lost my tanks.
right,
Well, some of them. Okay, okay.
right.
Now I guess I actually don't even have that much experience with LLTs. Like how many units I need to kill an LLT.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, and it's not always efficient to try to kill an LLT. And right now, I actually feeling like I don't have enough constructors.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is started to queue more exploiters in the bottom, and that is interesting way to spend metal.
You know, that's a good point. You bring these up. I want to say I saw you make these on a few different maps or matchups, perhaps, but this is something I've been building in my own games, and really, like an exploiter with one LLT can take out a lot of units, a surprising amount of units. So it's a good point.
Yeah, I guess if I had two constructors, maybe it would be better to build
Mm-hmm.
Max and two LLTs. Like Max and two LLTs cost the same as Exploiter, but Exploiter is same build power as a Max.
Yeah.
Oh, right now I have light tanks on the top, and
Mm-hmm.
I think I will not commit to killing that one LLT. There's just one LLT, and I'm kinda afraid to commit to it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's something in my mind I need to get used to. When I see red line that I will see from my point of view, like LLT range,
Mm-hmm.
my brain kinda doesn't want to go there, doesn't want to send my units there.
That's an
Yeah, in Subcom, I remember point defenses are much stronger.
right, right. And the way you counter that is to just find damage where it's not defending, right? So you just go somewhere else that they didn't spend the mass on a point
Yeah,
defense
but
here.
but in case of Ragnar, they are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
He has 19 LLTs now.
Yeah, and he'll keep making them too. So it's just like it's an interesting play style, and I think I mean it's really strong on Comet Catcher at least. Like you just can't attack into it efficiently.
Yeah, and by the way, he is now using Janus, and I still don't know how to deal with them properly.
Hmm.
Like right now, it's fine. Like there are only 4, which is not the smallest amount, but they are kind of lonely. They are without radar, and you can see the very different expanding playstyle.
Right. Are these all exploders on
I
the bottom? Yeah, those.
Yeah, lots of them. On the top as well, actually.
Mm.
Some. I've been floating like 600 metal, and I decided that I can spend it on exploiters.
Huh.
And I guess that was a good decision because it's now hard to raid.
Right.
Oh, by the way, I think like on the top, I stopped making exploiters and now queued up LLTs
Mm-hmm.
and maxes just because I ran out of metal now.
Okay, so you want the quick
Y-
metal from your metal extractors, not the exploiters.
I just wanted to say that I'm adapting. Like I ran out of metal and stopped making exploiters.
Okay.
And I guess in the meantime, I should have fixed my production or increased my production. And I guess I do it now. I'm adding more power and those construction turrets.
Mm-hmm.
Exploiters, you can see they are not very strong, but I don't know, buying at least some time.
Yeah, so you got a couple tanks kind of moving in position to this little harassment.
Oh, I also really like harassing with scouts, and on the top right, I'm from the top to the base,
Mhm.
I'm keep harassing, but against Ragna it's not easy, of course.
Yeah, the LLTs are pretty effective against
Yeah.
scouts. It's
And
interesting. Yeah, you're still using them. 16 minutes into the game, you have scouts
Y-
flying
Yeah,
around.
yeah. That's actually a very important point to compare it to other players that I see. I keep making scouts throughout the whole game, and one of the reasons is vision, and the second reason is maybe even scouting, and you can always harass with them because if you see some max that is poorly covered, you can kill it with a scout. Um, Also, I know about threat of Janus, and I don't know what to transition to, and I think I will transition to shurikens, or I'm planning transition to shurikens.
Yeah, yeah.
But like in some games on a smaller map, it doesn't work, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm supposed to do against Janus.
Um,
If it's pure Janus, I can do scouts, but if it's not pure Janus.
I mean, I hate to say you make the same unit to counter it, but I find kind of dealing with them, you have to take an overwhelming fight, or it's like you have to really commit to a fight to actually trade with the Janus in the backline. Otherwise, if you just kind of posture against each other, they'll get a couple Janus shots off and back away and get free, like keep getting free damage.
Yeah,
so.
that is correct, yeah. I guess I never actually did that, and I don't know if that's enough. Like, is it enough? Do I commit to it now? I have these questions in my head. Keep raiding at the back. By the way, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough unit. I actually lost the game to my own Janus. They shot my commander in the back, and it took like 60% of its health away. 2 Janus shots. Just instantly lost the game. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So it's not the best unit, of course. It has some friendly fire damage people don't necessarily consider, but I mean, we just saw that one scout take 5 Janus missiles, so you can really kind of have an overkill effect, kind of microing a few units out front to soak up all the damage and then move
Yeah, you also probably want to surround them because they're not super slow. Like, if you just follow them, they also have this impulse effect. It's not very easy to chase them. And as you chase, you clump up more.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? So I guess I did spend my metal. I used to like float a lot of metal. I somehow spent it. Some of it was on Air Lab. And I think I'm struggling a little bit with my base setup because everything I got greedy with my travel time of workers, so I built everything very close,
Right.
and it's not super good.
No,
But
they call it Sim City,
yeah,
right? Like you need a good Sim City to
yeah.
a good.
Also, very good word for that was good setup,
Mm-hmm.
especially on economy maps. It's a very good word for it. So I'm finally making shurikens because Janus cannot shoot up.
Yeah, that's a great counter. Neither can these stouts, if I'm not mistaken. So
They can shoot up, but not very well.
yeah. GG, someone's calling on the map. um, yeah, that is one
Yeah.
kind of immediate counter to the Janus is the Shurikens because
Yeah,
for
I'm actually not chasing very correctly, but it's fine, I guess.
yeah you
Oh,
have
I'm also
overwhelming.
sending my shurikens with attack move. I think it's not correct. I need to learn to use them. Like, I need to press A for attack and right click on a unit,
Mm-hmm.
or actually left click on a unit. Yeah, I just don't remember how to do that. Only recently I found out how to do that. Like,
Okay, so you're saying target specific things or just attack move and right click on everything you or left click.
there is a special move order for that. Special order. You press A, then you hover over enemy unit, and then you press left click and drag a circle. And it will
Oh, that's
do
okay. Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it will do attack on every unit, and they will stun one unit and go to another unit. But
Oh,
with attack moves they stop on one unit.
well,
It's not always good. It's not always good because they will clump up,
mm-hmm.
and if they clump up, they can die easily.
Yeah, they're
And
pretty light units.
actually, yes, secret way to deal with shurikens. If you have big army, you can deal with shurikens just by sending all your army in one big blob, and your pretty much all units can shoot up,
Yeah.
and they will shoot up, and they eventually will kill shurikens if you get into the big blob.
No,
I think,
that's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, like what I wanted to say, Blitz surprisingly works surprisingly well versus shurikens if you have enough of them, of course. If you don't have enough, well,
It doesn't take many
shurikens
though.
will
It's
win.
like I mean, 10 blitzes will. It's enough anti-air versus Shurikens. It seems like.
Yeah. Well, if you have 10 shurikens, 10 shurikens will
Mm-hmm.
stun your 10 blitzes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you have 20 medium tanks that are rolling through getting damage. So.
Yeah. So, do we do a next replay or
I
do
suppose
we?
I can pull one up real fast. I have maybe a couple questions I could ask you. Um,
Okay.
for those of you who don't know ZLO, longtime subcon player, have you played a lot of Total Annihilation, or was it mostly FAF and subcon?
I didn't know about Total Annihilation at all. I didn't play it uh, before Subcom. So I started RTS journey with Dune 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess I just liked all sci-fi RTS with base building. I played lots of them, but I didn't have StarCraft 1. I didn't have Total Annihilation. And Subcom, I had get it pretty much similar time when I got internet. And from that time it was only Subcom. I could play any other game after that, but they all feel bad after Subcom because you can't zoom out. Yeah. So like every other game that doesn't have zoom, it feels inferior, it feels painful, and I don't like it. And especially what I liked in Subcom, and actually Bar is even better, is ease of control. I hope I said it correctly.
Yeah, definitely.
I can easily control everything. I can just zoom out, and I can use my mouse only to move around the map. I really liked it. I can use my mouse only to move around the map, and I like it so much. That's insane. I play very zoomed out. What else? I forgot what I wanted to say. I also like that you can assist anything. It makes it kind of flexible, I think.
Yeah.
That's
Unlike
pretty fun.
other base building RTS games, having that mechanic where you can assist anything being built is really, it's like it seems very deliberate, right? It's like, well, I need this response right now. Well, I'll put 100% of my build power into doing this one thing, So.
Yeah. Well, Subcom and Bar is little different because in Subcom factories are pretty good, or rather I would say roll-off times pretty big in Subcom. So you want to have multiple factories, plus you get what's that called? Adjacency bonuses if you put your factory next to extractor, you get 7.5% metal discount. And if you use only factories next to mexes, which you usually have plenty of, you will get 7.5 metal discount on all your army. And you can even upgrade your mechs and you have more discount.
Yeah, that's an just like another layer of complexity to a game that, I mean, it's already fairly complex, right? But it's so, like you get an advantage, of course, like executing it well.
In Subcom, you can use assist, you can reclaim your stuff, but you generally do have multiple land factories or naval factories. You can assist your single, where it is air factory in Subcom. So you can switch to air with engineers if you have a lot of engineers. But in Bar, you can, I guess if you have lots of build power, you can, and sufficient power, you can switch around like in any tech. Like I can reclaim my bot lab and start an air lab. I guess that's the difference, I guess. Not sure what else to say.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Well, I know to me, one of the big differences I see between Subcom and Bar would be how fragile the economy structures are. Like in Bar, the mexes are way weaker. Your commander is way weaker, but that's not really the discussion. It's like the solar collectors, the windmills, the metal extractors have all such lower HP, and that.
Yeah, in Subcom mexes are very tanky. You can even just build them for tanking. Like, it builds 6 seconds with commander, but wait, actually, I don't remember. I think it's 6 seconds, but it's more than 6 seconds to kill with a commander.
Yeah. So you'll see people
Mm.
retreating and like building solar collector walls as they pull back to like block unit movement. So, which I think it's a pretty cool micro trick personally, but
Yeah. Um, did you see new video by uh, Randy,
yeah,
Pro Randy?
yeah,
He uses that trick in on this map
mm-hmm.
against Goopy. He uses that trick to block shots from grunts on LLT. He uses unfinished solar
Huh.
collectors to do that. And actually, I wish it wasn't so painful in both Subcom and Bar. Um, in Bar, you have this unpacking animation for what it is, the constructors. They have unpacking their build turret
Right,
animation.
right, right,
And because of that, you can't instantly build something. In Subcom, this animation is smaller, but there are also half a second delay after you do an order.
right.
But in Subcom is still better, but what I want to say. Basically, in Subcom, it's easier to block with buildings. Actually, in Bar, unfinished buildings that are on very low percent, they are not getting targeted by other units. It's kind of weird.
Hmm.
So I guess it's done so you can't build many of them very fast and drag shots on them,
Right,
maybe.
right, right.
Because in Subcom you can do that. Yeah.
Speaking of unfinished buildings, I will say the exploiter while it's being built, because of that higher HP, it's not as like vulnerable. In like a lot of these 1v1s, you can kind of poke in with your units and kill the building mechs. Well, it's just a lot harder to do that against the exploiter. Sorry, it's kind of like
Yeah, that's true. Well, Exploiter unfortunately is a niche unit. I guess the main advantage is low build power
mm-hmm,
or build time. Build time is lower on Exploiter.
mm-hmm,
So you can build it if you only have one constructor, but you want to build LLT and MX, you can build an Exploiter, but you pay an extra metal cost for that.
hmm.
And also against bombing runs, because I really like doing like 1-2 bombers and bomb all mexes. I guess in Subcom, the fragile thing that you can bomb is engineers, like
Right,
constructors.
right,
They are very fragile there, and you can one-shot bomb them with bombers.
right.
And here you can bomb winds and mexes with one bomb.
I want to say, I think that's why you don't see more like or air being a viable open in bar, just because I mean you can target some eco, but you're never gonna be delaying their expanding build power with a bomber in bar, which makes the open weak, I suppose. Is they can just
Yeah.
they can just only make construction vehicles and then send them all out on the map, and your bomber isn't gonna be able
That's
to.
actually not the only reason, of course.
Mm-hmm.
One reason is 900 metal cost of Air Lab.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the biggest reasons, I guess. Second reason that you have to micro your bombers. You have no choice but to micro them,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's something that clearly is in your radar vision range. Then you maybe can send them on attack move and they will do something. But usually if you don't micro them, they don't do anything. That's one of the reasons.
Hmm.
Well, in Subcom actually, I think it's kind of my invention. The simple micro trick, I would call it, that you will have a separate factory for building only bombers,
Mm-hmm.
and you from the factory you set a path of attack moves for that bomber, and like once every how many seconds it takes to build a bomber without any assistance,
Right, right.
it will appear it will go there and harass your opponent on that in that area, and you can always pick it up in micro, but you don't have to.
Right. The point is
And
getting it done beforehand, I suppose.
yeah, if it's a large enough map, you have eco to have this spare factory constructing bombers all the time. You have eco that it can be very effective.
Hmm.
Like it will take a very high level player to deal with that. Surprisingly, and if a game becomes even higher economy, you can be two of them and attack from two different sides. And 90% of people use select all air hotkey. They select all fighters hotkey actually.
Hmm.
And when they send their air on one side, then on the other side, not only it takes time, but also in subcom planes have fuel and they can run out of fuel, and that can be also painful.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're getting bombed and your fighters have been patrolling around and have no fuel to
Yeah,
stop
but
the
at
bombing.
least I guess bombers are actually less impactful in subcom. They only good at killing engineers and power generators that are clumped up,
Hmm.
maybe.
Hmm.
Also can kill raiders, and if your units are very clumped up, they can kill them, but they are not so. I think in bar, one bomber is stronger in bar than it is in subcom. Like, if you have a bomber in bar, you can probably blow up many wins, and you
Right.
can kill one max every like 5 seconds if you follow some good path.
Right.
In subcom, you can maybe kill one engineer multiple seconds.
Personally, I feel like being able to destroy the economy is a little better of a mechanic to like
Ah,
draw value out of air units. It
I
seems.
have no idea, to be honest.
Um,
What's better?
well, I like for game design, but maybe I could ask you some questions about that. It's like, so you're still playing Subcon. It's like which game do you like better, or I mean, does that matter to you, or like what would they need to change in bar to get you to kind of play it like all the time?
Okay, so I'm not. I guess I'm playing bar right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to not play either game. I just didn't have time to play anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I would play all tournaments, and so I would play like 1 week it would be subcom and 1 week it would be bar. Right now it mostly was bar. I don't remember any recent tournaments in subcom. So right now I feel like games are pretty equal for me. Maybe bar I feel like it has more potential. Um, Subcom, I think it's also the problem that I was like it was more than 14 years
Mm-hmm.
I've played Subcom and I wasn't stopping. I didn't stop to play it at not for any time. I didn't stop playing it. I just kept playing Subcom.
Right.
And so in bar you have those widgets. In Subcom there are UI mods, and the line move. Basically, Subcom doesn't have line move. I really liked line move
Yeah.
in 0K, and I found out that bar has line move. Actually, I just forgot what they were talking about. So, what's better, bar or Subcom? I think right now Subcom is still very good, especially for new players, because there is lots of single player content.
Mm.
Um, like
To learn the
Subcom,
game from, I suppose.
No, not just that, just to have fun.
I see.
Like, I guess you have Subcom 1 campaign, you have Forged Alliance campaign, even though I don't like it. I guess, actually, when I played it, I kinda liked it, but not so much. I don't know.
Hmm.
There are community missions, which are many of them. There are, I could basically, Subcom community was around for a long time and they made tons of things,
Right.
like tons of maps, tons of missions, extra missions, missions for a whole campaign that was for Seraphim. There was no campaign for Seraphim. They made it extra factions, campaigns for extra factions, and etc. etc. PvE survival missions. And lots of mods and even mod packs. Like there is now a mod pack, kind of like in Minecraft, where you install bunch of mods that were designed to work together.
Hmm.
That's
But you said
what I
you're
actually like.
you said you're
Yeah.
playing bar at the moment, so
Yeah.
is
Oh, what was better, or maybe something that's very good about bar, it was very interesting to learn. And it still is, I guess.
right.
I guess it's now a lot less, but it's still very interesting to learn bar. It feels like every new mechanic, every new thing, it feels overpowered.
Hmm.
Like you take, for example, ticks. If you have good micro, you can do so much with just ticks. And I guess it's might be even you can do too much with
Too
just
much.
ticks.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, from like
like
game design though, you'd want to be able to get some value from microing, like effectively.
like you can see on the video there is an LLT between two maxes, right?
Hmm.
On the bottom left corner there is LLT between two maxes. You can send one tick from the top left, and I think it actually will. You don't even need to do the trick. Yeah, you can send one there. And as soon as soon as LLT will turn around to shoot that tick, you can move other tick in that moment. And because of LLT turret turn time, uh, you may be able to go there in time and kill second max with just two ticks. And actually, that's something I did before. Like I would distract an LLT from one direction to send
Yeah,
a
yeah.
tick from the other direction. I actually did that.
I think
That's
that's
what's
pretty cool mechanic and like a great way to like there's a counter to the tick and it's we'll just put an LOT there, but then there's a micro counter with the tick to the so like having those
yeah,
layers
that's
is pretty cool.
actually from the mechanic. It might be not very good, not very fun for the defending player,
Hmm.
but you could always, I guess, the pro players could either spend their micro on something else, or they could, what I wanted to say, they could use sticks to defend against sticks or use other scouts.
Right, absolutely. Like
Like,
have units to defend units, not static defense
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
I guess that's very hard, but you can do that.
Well, I mean, I don't think you shouldn't expect RTS players to be making radars and using units to defend attacking. I think that's just like what makes the game fun, right? It's just like you have units to micro. I don't.
Well, actually, it's kind of weird. In bar, I feel like lots of players are actually playing multiplayer. It feels like it,
Oh, absolutely.
and lots of players are like, well, actually, no, lots of players playing those 8v8s. I
Right, right.
think it's Subcom. In Subcom, many people actually playing AI. Like, there's lots of players that play only AI. There is actually like, there is Forged Alliance Forever,
Hmm.
but Forged Alliance Forever is not the only thing. Like there is a separate entity that's kind of like Forged Alliance Forever,
It's
and
more
it's
like
only for
AI.
it's only for playing against AI. Like there is separate balance, and it's
Huh.
called loud AI, and
Okay.
it's basically separate client, separate balance, separate maps. And I think the if I just to finish on it, the goal actually is to have more performance. Like subcom performance is not amazing, and
Mm.
in bar, oh no, in FAF performance is even worse because they think like we have enough performance, we want to add cool features, and cool features make performance worse, but
Ah.
some there are really cool features as well. Like you can track how much reclaim each individual engineer got, for example, and that reduces performance.
That's something I would like
Uh,
to see, like just overall, how much reclaim you've had per game. I wonder if that's a widget
yeah,
I haven't kind of found in bar
it's
yet.
pro it's it, that is probably easy, but doing that for every engineer, and in subcoms there can be 300 of them,
Yeah, yeah.
because they are the most efficient way to assist build the most efficient build power there are Tech 1 engineers.
Mm.
And also subcom, oh actually bar does the same. Actually I'm not sure. No, I don't think it's the same. I think subcom is more complex. Basically, in bar you have veterancy system, and I think it's probably simpler in bar.
Hmm.
Basically, they probably count how much damage to, or maybe how much damage slash value unit dealt,
It,
right?
it has to be some association with damage because you can not kill something and gain veterancy in bar, so it's got to be.
Yes, it's a, but if you kill commander, if you damage commander, you get more veterancy.
Mm.
That's why it's also about value.
I see.
But you just take that number and you throw that into the unit, right?
Hmm.
But in subcom, you only gain veterancy as the enemy unit dies.
Right.
So if you have multiple units shooting at one unit, you have to keep track on that because you only need to apply veterancy when unit dies.
Yeah, like last
And
hit or something like that. The unit that gets deleted.
yeah, it doesn't matter who gets the last hit in FAF. In subcom it does without FAF, but
Hmm.
in FAF it doesn't matter. But it still has to keep track on who did how much damage, and that's for every unit. And another big thing of performance, like subcom has shields,
Right.
and they are very strong. Like they literally defend against absolutely everything. And in original games they're very strong, but in subcom they now calculate. It's so long to explain.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it's.
Basically,
I mean, it's
the more
fine.
shields if you have multiple shields that are intersecting each other,
Hmm.
damaging one shield will damage all shields at the same time.
Hmm.
But all other shield will get only 15% of the damage, and that's also eats a lot of performance. And basically, yeah, just wanted to say that Forged Lines Forever, they just add lots of cool features, but not all of them are good for performance.
I see.
And yeah, they don't have access to the engine, so they have to do it all in Lua. And that's also not great for performance, as far as I know. I don't know that much, but
So, would you say that perhaps that would make Spar a little bit better of a game? It's just it kind of is a little more modern, performs better than
it
Subcom.
has more potential
Yeah.
because it has open source. I don't know what's about servers because in Subcom game starts slowing down earlier. Like if you play a subcom game that is epic, like it's long, it's epic, it's many units, especially assisting stuff, probably slows down the game. So game will start to slow down. Like if it's a late game, it's already probably gonna be -1, and it will depend on the slowest computer in the game. You don't have a server at all. There is no server. Slowest computer is maximum speed. So you will gradually slow down more and more. What I noticed about bar recently, at least, that you don't get any lag until you do, and when you do, it's bad. So in bar, you play normal until very late game, but whenever there are people doing like 8 bot labs in a row spamming ticks, game may become unplayable completely because it will pause and pause, and
Yeah.
say you are
Desynced.
catching up.
Yeah.
Yeah, desynced catching up.
Well, I mean, who cares about that? It's 8v8s. I don't think we'll see that in a 1v1 anytime soon, hopefully. So.
Yeah, most of players are about 8v8, and in subcom as well, most of players are about those 6 versus 6, or I don't know if they play 8v8. Yeah, by the way, subcom has matchmaker. I don't know if I didn't try bar matchmaker yet. I don't know
I'm
if
sure
it's
they'll
actually
be
working.
coming out with one, or I want
Yeah,
to say they had one and they just have it disabled right now, but hopefully they
yeah, I
turn
think
one on.
I really waiting long time for it.
Well, maybe I'll ask you one last question. If you'd like to come back on the channel and do some of, I know we're gonna have a lot of 1v1s from the
Yeah.
farm league. So I mean, you're welcome to come back. I'd like to have you back on. Maybe we can talk about some of your future games in that league, and kind of get your take on what happened.
Yeah. Yes, I surely can come back again on that channel.
Cool.
I just right now I have a lot more to say.
Well,
Just feel like I didn't say it all. I just wanna last say about subcommand bar. Bar is surely much more fun, and mechanics are much more diverse and fun. Like blitzes, for example, can shoot through each other.
did not know that.
I don't know if that's a bug. You can see Teddy sending them in a blob, and the back blitzes can shoot through front blitzes. And that's the only unit that can do that without doing the weird, the arcing.
Right, right.
Like
I did not know that.
it,
That's interesting, huh? Hopefully we can get a good
yeah, that's
shot at it.
actually one of the reason why it's pretty OP. Like in Sizer, you have to micro, but you can see the back ones are shooting.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
absolutely.
Yeah. In Sizers, you have to micro. You have to keep line move. Here, your main reason to line move is to just not get surrounded. So line move is still good, but if you are flanking someone, you don't have to use line move with blitzes. If enemy is in the line and you are like going so from the side into that line, you don't have to use line move with blitzes.
Look at these blitzes and Lazarus.
Yeah, I guess if you have little amount of blitzes, you might not even have to use line move at all. If you have like 4 or 5, I don't know.
But that's a huge advantage. I mean,
Yes,
like I mean, every other
that's
unit, like grunts, for instance, you have to line
yes.
move, right? So
That's why they are so good, and I used to think that they are bad, yeah. And now I also can play them. I know this trick.
Okay, well, so we're on to you, everyone. All these armed vehicle
Yeah, so
players, we're on to you.
yeah, we learned about the flea dodging vehicle scouts trick. You just have to. I don't actually know how to do it, but if you uh, if you make lots of clicks with it,
Ticks. Yeah.
make it move back and forth, um, vehicle scouts tend to miss it. Just straight up miss the flea,
Oh, okay.
and your flea will kill them if they don't run away. Yeah, and another trick we learned today is that blitzes can shoot through each other, which is very OP.
That is OP. I'm so amazed. Actually, I feel like intuitively you might have like seen that happen, but didn't have a quite a
Yeah,
way to describe like why is the blitz so strong? Well, it can shoot through other blitzes, idiot. Anyways, so
yeah, it's hard to notice. I guess I just saw it and had to ping someone kind of in disbelief. Like, why is this happening? Why? Someone said me that they just can. I think it's actually a kind of a bug. They told me. I think it was Pitaco who told me. They just don't have a hitbox in their turret. That's why they can do it. And that can be a bug. Oh, actually, a bar is so good with their realistic terrain. Like you can hide from enemy raider.
that's
If
cool.
if you know where the raider is, you can hide, and you can even hide from vision. Like in Subcom, it doesn't happen. Oh, less tricks to learn in Subcom, but maybe I'm just don't remember them all
No, there's a
already.
lot of
It's
tricks in Subcon. You just don't have to remember.
Subcom is so much about economy, I think. I feel like you can literally just start your game and be so greedy. I guess no, I guess you can do that in bar as well. Because you can self-destruct your commander in bar and start taking up super fast.
Right.
In Subcom, you can just upgrade your extractors by themselves. And
Yeah, they have their own build
like
power.
yeah.
Don't carry the piano.
But you can do that early on, and you can do that in 1v1 early on as well. It's not recommended in 1v1, but you can do it, and there is a lot of skill involved into just how much metal do you put into your army, or how much metal you do put into your economy. Like, but in bar you don't have that. In bar, like Ragnar would say, that you don't build metal makers. What? But it's not very like genuine. I think it's not like what. It's not the point. Like metal makers is not the point. You don't build metal makers not because they are bad, but because you are not supposed to build too much power. Because too much the power itself is costly to build. You can
Yeah.
build units instead. If you build too much power, you can build a metal maker, or you can wait for a little bit and probably scale up your economy,
Yeah. Build up to it.
and you will have this. You will use this power eventually. In Subcom, that also happens, by the way. Like there are no Tech 1 metal makers, but you in very low eco situation, if you don't know what to spend metal on, you can build power. It's actually I feel like in Subcom it's more interesting with power, but in bar it also interesting, but it's so weird as well. I don't know. I maybe don't know everything about bar yet, but in Subcom, like if you have Tech 1, Tech 2, Tech 3, and Tech 4, the more you go up, it's usually, but not always, it's usually costs more power.
Mm-hmm.
So having more power gives you advantage. in bar in late game, it's kind of weird because in late game, more power is just more economy because you have economy of metal makers.
Right. Yeah, you have those like T2 metal makers you can.
In subcom, that only applies to the very late, in a very late game.
Yeah,
You
like supreme
do,
late game, we'd say. Like, just
yeah, you might even not do the metal makers. You may do support commanders.
right.
I actually
Yeah.
wonder what will happen in bar if you buff the metal produced by the fake commander. Like,
Does
imagine
it?
if that would be viable.
Does it produce metal? I didn't even. I built like I think one when I first started playing bar, but I didn't notice if
Um,
it gave you any
I
eco.
don't actually remember. I would say it does.
Alright, well, we'll
Oh,
just.
actually, yeah, I want to say that someone might not realize, but things like mobile bombs, right? You would think it's that, like, also what I like about bar, there are more stages, I think, early game. Like, what Subcom doesn't have, Subcom doesn't have expensive Tech 1 units or very cheap Tech 1 units. They are not very powerful at all. Like
Right.
light assault bots at Subcom, they can only kill engineers, and sometimes engineers can reclaim them. Uh,
Yeah, I can.
yeah, like fleas, but fleas have gigantic speed. Fleas have gigantic range. Fleas have good DPS, basically just like light assault bots at Subcom. But scouts at Subcom don't have DPS, but they still take your factory roll-off time. They try to buff it, but it still just takes your factory roll-off time in Subcom. So scouts are hard to use in Subcom. It's hard to justify building a scout. Like you want, like in bar you build a flea, but in Subcom you build light assault bot and a scout with it to have
Yeah,
more
yeah, the radar
vision.
coverage.
Yeah, and the raider. Yeah, you get more than just a flea would get, but some pro players just build two light bots and send them where your opponent will expand. You might not need this vision. That's like, so you have this scout that's supposed to be useful for this vision, but it takes so much roll off time that it's feels not viable. So that's like one stage you are kind of missing in Subcom. You don't have the scout stage. You have light assault bot stage, but light assault bots are very bad against other units. Like the scouts can kill combat scouts of Seraphim, and combat scouts can kill light assault bots, but light assault bots, oh, actually they did it well in Subcom with some update for Aeon, like Aeon light assault bots. They can deal with some medium tanks
Right.
of other factions, but then it's kind of stops. You have medium tank or bot in Subcom, and you just spam those. Like you have medium tanks here, like they both, everyone spams medium tanks. But before that, you had scouts, you had light tanks, which are very strong. Like light tanks, very strong. Like they can be main unit for like Randy could have built light tanks still with instead of medium tanks. He would not lose the game. But in FAF, you couldn't do that. You couldn't make light assault bots. You have to make those tanks. So in bar you have more than one option. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have Grunt, and you have a Plasma bot. Subcom, you don't have a Plasma bot. I would say like that.
That's a good.
Um,
That's a good point. I mean, we see it in
and
almost every game. Like, those like ticks are very early battles within like the
yeah,
first 3 minutes of the game,
and
and yeah.
I'm so like to explain it all. Like I like to explain it all, and I actually wanted to say about Tech 2. I just started very far away. In Tech 2 in bar you have those mobile bombs. And if you try to build them, you will realize that you need probably a fusion reactor to build them. because it takes so much energy.
Hmm.
Or you can, another trick that I use actually all the time, for at least for the core, you can build a storage, and you can build like 3, 4 what are they called? The range bots, Sheldons. You can make 3, 4 Sheldons, which are insanely cheap on energy, but then you can build a scuttle. I need to go, sorry. Open the door. Sorry.
That's some interesting points, and hopefully we can get ZLO back on the channel to talk
Okay, I
more about.
opened the door.
Okay, welcome back.
I'm well, yeah, but I guess it's time to end. Yeah, so I basically wanted to say that to tier 2, you have fiends, you have cans, or what they call sumos,
Yep.
and you have mammoth.
Hmm.
And you also have scuttle, this kind of light unit that's not very expensive, but you need lots of energy to build it. And you also can have Tech 2 without Tech 2 lab with combat engineers. Basically, that's a lot of possibilities in
Yeah,
bar.
I've seen quite a few of those combat engineers out, and then they'll just immediately reclaim the T2 factory. So
Yeah.
pretty cool to see.
So that's a good trick, but you need a lot of energy and you need a lot of build power to utilize the trick. Just for anyone who wants to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to stop
Okay.
now.
ZLO, thanks for coming on the
Yeah.
channel, and hopefully we'll get to see you again.
Yeah. See you next time.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
Subscribe. Yeah.
it. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks everyone, and see you in the next replay.